Why won't rich Muslim countries take the bulk of Muslim refugees? Gets out the popcorn. The answer is kind of in your question. Because they're rich. They don't want a bunch of poor people ruining their image. Muslim countries don't want them. I have lived in Saudi. I will never go back. The way they treat what they call third country nationalists is appalling. They don't treat them like people. Because they want to stay rich and safe. In the case of the UAE and Qatar, it's because they're too small. They're rich per capita but total population is small. Qatar is 2.7 million people, most of that are immigrant. Not native Qatar. 330k UAE native pop is 1.5 million. They simply do not have the capacity to take on that many migrants. That's not even factoring in total land area to house these migrants. Saudi is different. Their total pop is 36 million. They have the capacity to take on people. The issues are the status of the state apparatus. They simply don't have the expertise or infrastructure to take on a lot of unplanned migration. Most importantly, they migrants themselves don't want to go to these countries. They want to go to Europe. Better human rights situation, better economic prospects, better healthcare and social safety net. Rich countries didn't become rich by being generous. Usually the ones with the most means to help are the less likely to do so. Do we know that the refugees are even trying to go to Saudi Arabia or Dubai or the Emirates? Maybe the refugees don't want to end up in another theocratic state? Speaking as a Pakistani Muslim, it's simply because a lot of Arabs have a superiority complex instilled into their culture. It doesn't matter that Syrians and Egyptians and Palestinians and Pakistanis and Bangladeshis are all Muslim like they are. They're not true Arabs the way the Saudis and Qataris are. Racist-ass Arabs would never lower themselves to help out their fellow Muslims in need. But good on the EU and the West for being humanitarians and helping take these Ajmis, Arabic term for non-Arabs, off their hands so they can focus on making more money with the Americans so they can exert their political and religious influence of backwards Wahhabism to the world. Because they're rich. Have you seen Dubai? They house the poor in a different part of the city away from the rich and touristy places. Same with Qatar. They'll use slave labor and such. They don't want the beautiful city that others have built and the money they've spent to look ugly. I interned with the IRC. Most refugees do stay in a safe country as close to their original country but only temporarily. The thing is, EU and the other Western countries have more resources in place to resettle them. Just because a Muslim country is rich doesn't mean it uses that wealth in a way to be able to help refugees. It's not about religion but class and race. I am from one of those countries, so I feel I can explain. 1. As many said, a reason for this is because those countries do not want poor people living there. 2. Some of these people want to go to Europe. They believe that they will be given a stable income and a nice house just because they are refugees. Whilst this is untrue, many people still believe that. Do not think that all the immigrants who left are poor and have nowhere to go. I know some of them. They wanted to go there so that they could live without having to ever work, as they thought. And now, I think they realized that this isn't true, but can't go back. Also, some of them want to go to Europe because they think it's a lawless place where they can do as much drugs and sex as they want, because it isn't available where they are. I knew a guy who went to Hungary and said he stopped drinking water and replaced it with vodka, as though that was some achievement. In reality, that's just alcoholism. 3. Another reason why is because these Arab countries you mentioned do not offer political asylum. Basically, some of these people left because they were against the government, whilst Europe will grant them the status of political refugees. These Arab countries won't, as they are all friendly with each other. Sorta. So if you go there, you gotta apply for immigration and work there. Lots of people in Arab states are immigrants. You just can't really see that unless they tell you. It's against their religion. They can't accept immigrants as it's seen as unholy and filthy in the Quran. Watch the down votes come flowing. True Muslims know. Simple answer. They know better. People are selfish. If it doesn't make their life better, they won't deal with it. Those aren't rich countries. Those are countries that have a few extremely wealthy people who skew the national GDP. Well, around 73% of refugees go to neighboring countries. So the majority of Muslim refugees do indeed go to predominantly Muslim countries. Because they're worried that refugees would bring political ideas and movements that would distrust their authoritarian political systems. Saudi and a few others all changed their policies about 20-30 years ago to de-incentivize migrant workers from Arab countries that they considered to be politically unstable that would disrupt their political system. Originally, the migrants in Saudi, UAE, Qatar were Egyptians, Syrians, Palestinians and Jordanians, but they shifted their immigration and recruiting policies to South Asians and Nepalis because the language and cultural barriers were more significant and thus make it harder to impact local politics. Also, having lived in the Gulf, there is much more of a closed society in terms of daily life. People are much more focused on the family unit and are not as welcoming of outsiders. Long story short, they could do so but choose not to for political and cultural reasons. These countries have no reason to take the refugees. And the refugees don't even want to go there. They want to go to Western Europe to benefit from welfare programs and to have a chance at a decent life.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.